God knows there are major problems going on with it now, but those are going to be fixed. It is potentially going to be a lifesaver for a whole lot of people once it gets going. Okay. You can take a mental health first aid class at Bert Nash. This is an interesting, it's a national thing, but Bert Nash was one of the first to do this. $30. It's an 8-hour class spread over, I think, 3 days. And you don't become a therapist, but you learn how to recognize mental health emergencies and how to talk to a person who is in an emergency, and how to, if necessary, guide them to getting professional help. Okay. And it's worth remembering that the people you run into every day may be experiencing just god-awful stress from their financial situation, as well as any number of other things. They may have an awful lot on their mind, which is affecting their behavior. They may be acting like a jerk, but there may be at least an understandable reason for it, and that they may be maybe not paying good enough attention, maybe quick to become annoyed, but just bear in mind that they may have a lot more troubles to deal with than you do. Protect yourself. Don't be taken advantage of. But when you can, show some kindness to them. So I'd say let compassion be your default response. That's always a good thing. So that's about what I have to say. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or at least listen to any questions. Yeah.
Back to one of those early points about the percentage of poverty in Douglas County. I read one time that the real rate should be almost 25% because it doesn't include college students. And a lot of college students meet poverty criteria, and just because they're borrowing a lot to pay tuition or have a scholarship doesn't really take them out of poverty.
Yeah, very true. We see a lot of KU students at Bert Nash, and yeah, they're struggling, a lot of them.
Joe, a number of years ago, Bert Nash started what was called a case management program, where case managers had small caseloads and really were available to clients on almost a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week basis. Does that program still exist?
Absolutely. This is one of the reasons that I've liked working at community mental health centers. This is a research. I can't imagine treating people with severe chronic mental illness without the availability of case managers. I think it's just, going to see a psychiatrist in an office once a week is just doesn't cut it, because they help people mainly with just day-to-day problems of housing and how to get food and how to get clothes, how to manage their money. I wouldn't say that it's 24-hour coverage, but they're readily available, and they may see the person several times a week. In crisis, they may be seeing them every day for a while. The one catch to that is that the only way we have to pay for that is Medicaid. No other insurance pays for it, and so that they do assign some case managers to people where there's no way of getting reimbursement, but as a realistic thing, we can't afford to do that for everybody who would benefit from a case manager. But most of a lot of the really severely persistently mentally ill people do have case managers.
I want to thank you, Joel, first, and then to ask you a question. It shouldn't have come this late in my life, but the R in that other party should stand for regressive, right? That's a fair, I mean, the liberals now like to refer to themselves as progressives, And the Republican Party is becoming the party of regression. We're going back, way back to old times, so the wealthy can stay wealthy and all that. My question to you is, you have a magnificent heart of compassion, and you're reaching out and fighting to get problems that are politically motivated solved, and I admire that very much. But I'm sitting here wondering how you stay fortified to hang in there and fight the fight.
Well, I like my job. I mean, we're still doing what we're supposed to be doing over there. I mean, we have a really good staff. I like the clients that I work with. They're just constantly inspiring to me to. Yeah, and we have an excellent administration. David Johnson is a darn good politician himself, and he's yeah, I think he's doing all that he can to you know, to make contact with people in the administration that might have a particular softness in their heart for people with psychiatric problems. But yeah, but I think overall it's a nice place to be.
Bert Nash, I guess, mainly deals with low or moderate income, but what percentage of that group is a part of all of Douglas County? In other words, are there must be rich people who have mental problems too. Are they getting treated elsewhere, or
Sure.
how does that work?
I've forgotten the numbers on here. Something like 8% of our clients have incomes over 50,000. But yeah, there are a lot of good therapists in Lawrence. There are not very many psychiatrists, but there are plenty of really good therapists who see people in some cases at reduced rates, although usually they charge a standard rate and usually accept insurance.
When I look at the policy efforts of recent times on behalf of people who are poor, people who are mentally ill, I can't help but feel as if a lot of it is driven by beliefs that those things happen because of moral weakness, and that the policies that get developed look punitive. They look like they're intentionally punitive. They're punishing people for being poor, they're punishing people for being strange or different or mentally ill. You comment on that?
Naturally, as an employee of Bert Nash, I'm not speaking for Bert Nash. I'm really here, and I told them that I was not doing that. Yeah, it seems like that to me. I think there is a strong philosophy that people all have the capacity to move themselves ahead, and I think a lot of people really do believe that regardless of the circumstances, a person could better themselves if they really, really wanted to. And our job is to make things such that they really, really want to. But
I think those policies are symptoms of hardened hearts.
yeah, I'm afraid so. They certainly, the United States is in the bottom, the way bottom tier of industrialized nations in providing help to the poor, and even in providing programs to help people from falling into poverty.
Right.
The Medicaid expansion, if Kansas would accept it, would be important. Are there other aspects of the Affordable Care Act that would help the kind of situation that you've described to us?
Well, we see a lot of people who have no insurance, and their income is such that you know, they pay on a sliding scale. So typically, somebody seeing me would pay $10 for a visit, $10 for an hour or for half an hour. And a certain number of those people are going to qualify for insurance, subsidized insurance, and so we're going to, you know, make significantly more for doing the same thing. I think that's the other effect that we'll have is I think there are people who will be able to get insurance. I'm thinking of somebody I just saw last weekend, not at the mental health center, but somebody I've seen before who has a chronic injury that really affects his job, and it makes working much harder for him. He needs surgery, and he can't afford surgery. And I think he would qualify for a subsidy and get insurance. So part of when I was seeing him as a client, part of it was depression because he couldn't work and then had all the ramifications of that. But he couldn't work because he had a bad shoulder, and he had a bad shoulder because he didn't have insurance. And so I'm treating a lack of insurance with a capsule of Cymbalta, and now that's crazy. TJ?
Joe, I know you, and I have a great respect for the work that you do at Burt Nash and the other staff there. However, okay, most economists, Robert Reich particularly, seem to believe that at least for the foreseeable future, things are going to get nothing but worse for the blue-collar working class, let alone as well as those below the blue-collar working class, those living on the edge of poverty. And so my question is, just how much more can the community absorb in services for these people if this class is growing? Things are not going to get any better for them. You're going to see more punitive policies, and they're going to be, what, just disappearing? I mean, I don't know, dying off. You mentioned several cases of people getting out of it by dying. There's a maximum somewhere where the system's going to break, right, because of overload.
Well, there is, but I don't think we're really close to it.
Really?
I think there are resources in this country that could be used. Other countries do it. Other countries.
Yeah, right. That's the problem.
I don't think it's a matter of the resources. It's a matter of the will to use them. The notion that we really are all in it together.
That's exactly the problem. The national policy. I think, they said globalization and technology has made, since 2007, has made the working class insignificant. It's less valuable than raw materials that you would get to stuff a pillow. And that it's going to continue that way. So where are these people? They're not going to survive on
I don't have the answers. I know some companies are bringing jobs back to this country, partly with the idea that it's the right thing to do. That you can't stretch that too far because that's not their stated purpose. They're out to make a profit, but I don't know. I hope there will be a change.
So you're more optimistic than I am.
Well,
good for you.
And if there is to be a change, our education system has to be a huge part of that, and we've got to get adequate funding. We have to have a better education system.
As we conclude, Joe, I want to encourage the others to do what I'm about to do when I go home. I had it on my task sheet today. I'm going to call Burt Nash and take a tour next Tuesday. I think it's at 10 a.m. And there are other dates that they can go up and take a tour, correct?
Yes.
And it'd be worth the Now, I hope you're not presenting this all over again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. I want to hear about other things at Burton Ash.
No, I haven't been on the tour, but people who have done it have told me that it's really very good.
Do you think
and
Lawrence,
very
do
interesting.
you think Lawrence needs an inpatient psychiatric facility?
I wish we had one, yeah. We're getting
need
by.
Big help.
Again, there's nothing, well, there are two sides to that story. My side is there's nothing but money to keep us from having it, but I realize there's another argument
Right.
about it. We do have a bed, one bed overnight in the emergency room, a crisis bed that can be used. And that, I will say, there were a lot of one-night admissions to the psychiatric unit when it was open. And then people the next day sobered up, and girlfriend called them back, and you know, they're out. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
See, James, I also noticed that Robert Wright was your
Well, at the very end, he was going to-
Yeah.